It looks so good. Now I feel like, okay, this is a professional brand. And now we can go put the marketing to use. And so people are noticing. People have contacted us via text, via online, and they're saying, we love what you're doing with your branding. The new approach you took is amazing.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. If you're having some challenges with how you are perceived in your profession, well, you'll be interested in our interview today. We talk a lot about changing how you're seen so you can charge what you're worth, because perception begins with your brand. And did you know 98% of people meet your brand before they meet you? Today, we're talking with John and Elizabeth Finley from San Diego, and they have just completed our Personal Power Brand program.
John and Elizabeth, thank y'all for joining us and welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. Hey, fellow realtors, I love it. I love it. I love it. I also, you may not know this, lived in San Diego for a little bit myself back in 2009, 10, and 11. So you're in, what I think is one of the most gorgeous places on earth. But what attracted you guys into real estate to begin with? What was that story like?
Well, I'll let you start on that, Elizabeth, because it's definitely...
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it was different for both of us, obviously. I had just graduated college. And at the time, my boyfriend's family was totally in real estate. And they really kind of and they were successful. I saw the investment properties they had and everything they were doing. And so I just was like, I want that. So I spent my next summer back at the Century 21 office watching videos to get my real estate license. Anyway, got my license, and I was 22, sold a few houses right off the bat, which shocked me being so young that I could do it, but I did it. And I've had the real estate bug really ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that story. What about you, John?
So for me, my family's in real estate. My dad's a builder. He was a broker, commercial and residential, and then he got into the development side of it. My stepmom is a broker and still to this day co-owns a brokerage. I had several different jobs, always in sales. I've always been entrepreneurial. I always wanted to work for myself, and I never wanted to cap my income. So I was always drawn to sales. As much as I tried to stay out of the family business, I ended up working on some construction sites for my dad when I was younger. And as I got older and after getting out in the world and working different corporate jobs in sales, I just got sucked into the real estate game, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah. That's great.
It's hard work. It's a lot of hard work, but it's such a gratifying profession, honestly. And I'd like to say my career started out as glamorously as that, but it was actually selling vacuum cleaners door to door. So you guys have a leg up on me. I learned a whole lot.
I don't know. That's a lot harder to sell a real estate. I think.
Door knocking. It was truly door knocking.
So why did you both decide to come into the BrandFace program?
What challenges were you guys having with your brand that brought you to us, in other words? And John, we'll go with you first.
Sure. So we're in coastal San Diego. We're in a luxury market. And so we're fortunate that our price points are really good anyway. Our average selling price point is $1 million. We sell condos for $400,000 or $500,000. We sell bigger stuff. But over the years, we've developed a really, really nice brand, or not a brand. What I'll say is we developed a really nice reputation. And we have a lot of clients, and we felt we wanted to take our business to a new level by expanding our business, but also expanding into higher price points. And so we felt that while we had some savvy and chops in the marketing side of it, we had always gone from different logos to different company names to this, that, and the other. And we didn't have an established brand per se. And so when we became aware of BrandFace, it just stuck out to us, and we just said, this is something we need to take a look at because it might be everything we're looking for.
Awesome. Elizabeth?
Well, I think also it helped that we met someone that works with you that, highly recommended you. So, and we sold her a house. And so, that also was a huge win in that way. But I think, I've always been in charge of the marketing for our team.
And so it was a huge relief to me. And I had been saying this to John for several years that I kind of wanted to have something uniform, and I also wanted someone to kind of handle that for me, because I do my best, but I'm not a marketing expert. And we constantly and consistent, it seemed like we changed all the time. And I think John just mentioned that, but it felt like we changed. And every time we had to change, of course, everything has changed. So that was a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad to just go, work with you guys because we feel very confident about what you developed for us. And now, we can stick with it. And I liked also some of the reviews you guys had and some of the before and afters. I thought they were really impressive. And I think you're exactly what we needed to elevate our business.
The dynamic between us is funny, and she's right. She is in charge of the marketing. I've got shiny object syndrome. So I'm like, we should do this. We should do this. This is a great logo. This is our new tagline.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. I don't want to go recreate the wheel every time, come on.
I love this conversation because if we can get this episode in front of millions of people, there are millions of people that will understand exactly where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working with somebody and it's like, okay, well, I want this. No, I want this. And it's really tough, even though the end goal is the same for you guys, right? And the way you serve people, the way you take care of them, that's all and what you want out of things, right? The path to get there and how you express that is so subjective sometimes. It's why we say it's hard to read the label when you're inside the jar.
Mm-hmm.
Super hard. Well, we're so glad that everybody could come together and agree on this beautiful brand. Yeah.
And what's really awesome about it too is it builds over time too. Now that you have established that brand and you're moving forward with it, you're going to see returns on investment in your marketing that you've never been able to track before. And I learned that same lesson from Tanya 11 years ago when I hired her for marketing and she gave me branding. I didn't even know what it was until that.
It was a bait and switch.
It was, and it was exactly what I needed. So tell us a little bit about that. Who are you trying to attract with your brand? What's the best fit for you both?
Yeah, so that's one of the great things that came out of this, because in your initial questionnaires, you ask us, what we're trying to accomplish, what our client avatar is, and kind of in our heads, we know it, but we had never put it down on paper. So it gets us focused on like, what are we doing? And, our elevator pitch is we guide sophisticated homeowners and families in achieving their own idea of a coastal San Diego luxury lifestyle. And so
nice job, by the way.
Fantastic.
Bravo. Yes. And that's John's memory working right there.
And we do work in all price points, but this kind of focuses us on who we're really trying to attract, who we can best serve. And so that comes to when we talk about sophisticated homeowners, usually our clients are people who have bought and sold homes before, whether they've done it through us or someone else. We do work with first-time home buyers, but typically we end up with people who have bought and sold before, and they value the expertise that we bring in this specific market, and people who are looking for what their idea of a luxury lifestyle is, because we're real focused on lifestyle, and that's part of the reason why we have our tagline, Luxury Living Authority. And so we help our clients define that, because people think luxury and they think, high end, or they think really, really expensive homes. And the reality is luxury is really what it means to that individual person. So that could mean a 1-bedroom apartment with an ocean view, or it could mean a 13-room villa overlooking, a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, okay, so this question is more pointed at you. John mentions the type of people that you're going after. You can serve others, but it's really about honing in on the person that you want to attract every day. And I know originally you guys were concerned about branding as a team together because you have very different personal interests. Like, things are subjective, right? A logo is subjective, a tagline is, a photo is, etc. So tell us about the journey through that, and were you able to kind of come together on all of that, even though you're very different people?
Yeah. I mean, thanks to your guidance, I think we were able to, because, like John is very physically active. Not that I'm not, but I'm not like always out there like he is with the surfing and the triathlon and all that. So yeah, I think that it worked out.
You hit on something there, Elizabeth, because you're different people. Like you said, he's a little bit more, physically active than you are, even though you both do a lot of the things. But I think what makes that really cool is that your clients have the opportunity to see two very different people and two very different, lifestyles and desires. And, I think that allows
Approaches.
different people to connect with each of you,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. And we have very different backgrounds as well, in that same way, even though John was in development, I grew up in an Air Force family. So, there's a lot of commonality for people who have been in the armed services. And I come from the Bay Area originally, and he's been a local pretty much his whole life here. So, that's another thing that really varies us. I know what it feels like to move across the country, across the world. I mean, those are things that I definitely, I think it's valuable, and some people really want someone who has lived here their whole life, and they want to hear all the intricacies. And I've learned a lot about the neighborhoods because John and I raised 3 children together. All about school districts and all that, and that's a big feature too. But, it's nice to have someone who's a local expert too.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, y'all can cover a lot of ground together with that while utilizing the same brand, a unified brand, which is really fantastic for your clients. Were there any concerns about anything else coming into the program? Did either one of you have any fears or trepidations about
definitely. And Michael, this, and as real estate agents, we are hit up from every angle of people trying to get in our pockets, and we've got the best lead service, and, pay us this and we'll give you these leads, and pay us this and we'll teach you how to do this, that, and the other, marketing and this and that. And we hear a lot about marketing, but we don't hear a lot about branding. But one of the concerns I had was, is this just another company that is trying to get into our pockets and going to underperform, and we're going to walk away saying, well, that was a waste. We didn't get anything out of it. And it couldn't be further from the truth. But that was one of our concerns.
Yeah.
You and about 2 million other realtors.
It's a constant concern. And
Yeah.
I'll tell a little story right here. Like, when Tanya reached out to me, long before there was a program, long before we developed the program, I was the first real estate client she ever worked with. And I hired her for marketing, and it was turnkey. But before I hired her, when she called me, I'm like, listen, I've had 4 others just like you. I don't need another one. I was so rude. I was so mean.
He literally said those exact words.
Yeah. And then, and just like you said, I was totally wrong. I've said it on many recordings. I'm saying it again. I had never had a marketing person with a mind like hers. Definitely didn't know anything about branding. And she was worth every penny of the exorbitant amount of money I paid her.
And I did not charge him anywhere near what I should have. But we'll go into that story another day.
Along those lines, and part of it was, you guys came highly recommended. And so that kind of took the edge off. So we were willing to give you guys an opportunity. But honestly, it was in our conversation with Tanya, she wasn't trying to sell us anything. She just said, look, this is the problem that I know all realtors have. This is the solution that we have for it. And if it's a fit for you, great. If it's not, that's okay. But she wasn't trying to sell us. She just said, this is what we do, and it helps a lot of people. And we felt immediately at ease, immediately comfortable, and didn't feel like this was someone who we're going into business with or we're hiring. We felt like this was someone we're starting a relationship with.
Yeah,
so that's a testament to Tanya and just the business that you guys have built. But when we got in, everything that y'all said that you would do, you delivered above and beyond. And unfortunately, that's rare in the industry. It is. And that's why we were skeptical going in.
Thank you for those kind words. And we take it very serious because we know it works, and we like to see people grow in their businesses by utilizing these principles. So thank you for those kind words.
Absolutely. And you guys were just absolute pleasure to work with. So what was especially helpful to you both throughout that brand building process? Was because different people take away different things. And so Elizabeth, what was that for you?
Well, I think we're continuing to have patience with us because we took quite a while to get everything done, especially our pictures. And so just your patience, but also kind of, giving us a little push here and there to remind us, yep, we're still on this track. And I liked the videos that you guys had and that they were short and concise, but also informative. And I didn't feel like, sometimes when you have, you're working with marketing, or you're trying to figure out, I guess, your brand, you can have a lot of homework. And I think that our homework was doable. It was, some quick 5-minute videos that we had to go through, and it worked out. And before we go any further, I just wanted to point out one thing that was really noticeable to me in this last conversation. John said y'all in it. Did you say that before?
You got behind it,
Y'all. So
I love it.
I love it. Notice I was laughing when you said that, but I was like, oh, wow, John, you're really boring here.
Even though I grew up on the beach in San Diego, I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't work to say you guys, because we've got some gals, we've got some guys. So just y'all, it makes sense.
It does make sense. It's that Southern charm, right? I was raised here in the South, in North Georgia. In fact, 45 minutes away. Michael and I live 45 minutes apart. Our whole lives didn't meet until 11 years ago, I want to say, when I was in Ohio and he was in Georgia. So, yeah, the South has a way of it has its own sort of charm. And I like the word y'all, even though I rarely ever use it anymore. It just,
Yeah. Well, I was born in Texas. I lived in Texas for 2 years, and apparently it was when I was really young, but I had a big accent. So it can come out right away. But
yes.
I never hear it from John. So
there's always a first. And we kept captured the recording for you, Elizabeth.
Okay. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's been such a pleasure to work with you guys throughout this. What I loved about you two is you have the ability to sit there and one of you will say, okay, I think we should go this way. The other one will say, I think maybe we should consider this. And within 30 seconds, you've met in the middle. And it's a rarity, I have to say. And I'm so proud of you both, because building a brand is a very personal thing. That's why it's called personal branding. It's a personal thing, but you guys are so cool about working together like that. And I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
It didn't come naturally. It took us some time. I mean, in the early years, we were at each other's throats, but we've learned how to work well together. And I think for us, that's one of the benefits to our clients. I mean, honestly, my weaknesses, Elizabeth's strengths fill those gaps, and vice versa. And so they're getting one super agent with the two of us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. That sums up, I think, what that question we asked about, you're coming at this from different angles and how important that is for people to see, there's a lot here to identify with, right? So whoever you're talking to, there's a great likelihood that they're going to identify super strongly with at least one of you, if not both of you, which is a good spot to be in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. We use that to our full advantage.
Excellent. What ways has your brand already helped you?
So the one thing I've noticed right away is I'm confident in our brand, and I'm confident in what we're putting out, and super proud of it. It looks so good. And now I feel like, okay, this is a professional brand, and now we can go put the marketing to use.
Right.
And so people are noticing. People have contacted us via text, via online, and they're saying, we love what you're doing with your branding. The new approach you took is amazing. And so people are noticing. The leads and the business will follow. And I think that it's just been giving us that confidence, because, as realtors, we're wearing so many different hats, right? And we can't be a professional marketing person. We can't be a professional branding person. We can't be all of these things. And if you look at maybe an Olympic athlete, right? They're very good at what they do. However, they need a coach to focus them and guide them and say, this is how you train this, that, and the other. And so we've been trying to do our branding and our marketing and all this stuff on our own, which we don't have expertise in. And so hiring you to do that and partnering with you to do that, it just, one, took something off our plate where we just had to kind of follow what you said to do. And now we have this brand that we're super confident with and super proud to put out there.
Yeah. And I think our message is clear too,
Right.
It really helped us drill down on what our value add is for people and where we want to be and participate in the market.
I love to hear these words. I do. And I can't wait to see how it evolves even more because I've sort of been in the journey that you guys are on. I've been in real estate for 28 years now, but I didn't really feel like I started my real estate career until I met Tanya, and she taught me these same principles, and we live them every day. And I teach them to my agents and not just our clients through BrandFace. So I'm really excited for you guys, and the relationship's already started, and then we'll keep that relationship. You're part of the BrandFace family, and forever will be. And I can't wait to see subsequent meetings where we have y'all on. You're like, oh yeah, this ROI on this marketing working. The brand worked here. The brand worked there. This is how it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. That's
We're
for
gonna
those of
I still get excited about it. Every time when somebody calls our office, they're like, we looked y'all up and you're exactly who we want to work with. Like we run around high-fiving, and we've been doing that for 9 years now. So it's, yeah.
And here's what I want people to understand. You guys, and I'll come right back to you, John, my apologies. But you guys, you had everything. It's like Teresa Stark from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, said to us probably 7, 8 years ago. She said, I knew I had it all. I just didn't have it all together. And I thought that was just a very genius way of explaining what was missing. You guys are incredible. And now you have a brand that finally lives up to you guys. So I love that. I love that.
Thank
And I was just going to say, we're excited too, Michael. I mean, the one thing that I felt from the very beginning, this was not a transaction. It wasn't a transaction for us, and it wasn't a transaction for you. It was a relationship, and we felt that very strongly. And by the way, just to let you know, Michael, Tanya has already invited us out to the house and said she'll cook for us. So
Yeah, I did.
That's perfect.
did.
You're welcome anytime.
I said,
Absolutely.
we love to cook. We absolutely love to cook, and you are welcome anytime.
Yes.
But that's the thing. It never felt like a transaction. It felt like a relationship we were building, and it felt like family.
Awesome.
We love you guys.
Yes,
Thank you
that
so
is
much.
Fantastic. Music to our ears.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we're going to ask y'all a question, okay? And you can answer it individually if you want. We ask it of all of our guests that come on the show. And it's going to be interesting because you actually live in a place that, I probably would answer this question to. So if our listeners have the freedom to visit anywhere in the world, what place would you recommend them to visit and why? If they were totally unencumbered, no issues, no money, no nothing, they didn't have anything encumbering them, where would you
Just
tell
to
them?
visit, not to live.
To visit, yep, and why?
San Diego is a great place to visit. The weather, for the most part, is always really good. But I guess I'll go with one of my favorite places, a place I don't get to enough. I've been a few times, but for me, it's just a magical place, and that is Lake Como, Italy. I love the feeling there. I love the scenery. I love the fact that everything is surrounded around this one lake. And it's a whole lake region. There's a lot of lakes too, but there's these little villages that are around the lake, and each village has its own unique characteristic, style, identity, and culture. And so you just like, I don't know what it is, maybe like a 5-mile radius of something, but like you're in like 10 different worlds all in once. And it's one of my favorite places. So if anyone could visit there, I would say Lake Como, Italy.
That's a good one.
Yep. I knew that was going to be that for sure. Well, I have a couple places. There's one that when people tell me they haven't been to Hawaii, specifically for me, Kauai, it just like, I'm like, you have to go, like that's
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I love the aloha spirit, the laid back. I love to snorkel. I love the turtles. So for me, probably like my favorite place to vacation is there. However, Europe is a tough one too for me. John and I obviously have experienced Lake Como together. It's amazing. And one place you haven't been, John, that I would also recommend then in that case is Nice, France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a lot of places on my list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're
But we do live in a paradise here. And every time we come back from Hawaii or another tropical area of any kind, I'm just like, oh, okay. The ocean right now, it's gorgeous.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. We've got a lot of on our bucket list left too. So we'll add those too. Our bucket list is getting longer and longer every time we ask this question, unfortunately.
I'll bring this back to real estate because as much as we love San Diego, it's a great place to live. There's a lot of great places to live. And ultimately, when we talk about luxury living authority and finding your own definition of what your luxury lifestyle is, wherever you travel in the world, when you come back home, wherever home is, you're back home, and home is home. And so it doesn't matter if it's San Diego or Tennessee or Atlanta or wherever it is, everyone can find their own definition of luxury lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
perfectly
talked
said.
about that on one of our phone calls. Like, I'm more of a mountain person. I love the mountains. And to me, that's luxurious. Getting up, getting on the river, getting on a, kayak for the day. That's luxury to me, right? Where somebody else might be traveling, on a private jet to Italy. I'm like, okay, give me a kayak in the river. I'll take both, obviously.
Yeah.
But, we all have our different ideas of luxury, which goes perfectly into, your brand. So what's the best way for people to learn about you guys or contact you?
Well, I'll say, Michael, you just saved a lot of money because you don't have to get a private jet. You just got to go get a kayak.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, the only problem
We've got
is
several.
Michael wants a private jet. It's not the
All right, there you go.
Yeah, but the private jet's probably just going to take us to another river somewhere. So, so
that part
that's
is
okay
true.
too.
Right. So a lot of ways to contact us. We're on Instagram, the Finley Group. We're on Facebook, the Finley Group. Email
YouTube,
John at the Finley Group, Elizabeth at the Finley Group. And then if you look up the Finley Group Coastal San Diego Living on YouTube, you can find us there.
Oh, easy enough, guys. Well, great job with your brand, and we're so happy you're in the family. Thank you once again, John and Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Thanks for the time. This was super fun.
You bet.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.